Have you ever wondered what it feels like to stand in a city where every drop of rain carries the echoes of kings, empires, revolutions, and centuries of forgotten history? A city where thunder shakes the sky almost every day. A city where tropical forests meet royal heritage. A city whose story began long before modern Indonesia even existed. Most people know Jakarta. Many have heard of Bandung. But hidden among the green mountains of West Java lies a remarkable city that has quietly shaped the history of an entire nation. This is Bogor, the city of rain, the city of lightning, the blessed land, and perhaps one of Indonesia's most fascinating places that the world still does not fully understand. Nestled between lush highlands and fertile valleys, Bogor sits approximately 60 kilometers south of Jakarta in the province of West Java. At first glance, it appears to be a peaceful urban center surrounded by green landscapes and cool mountain air. But beneath its modern streets lies a story stretching back hundreds of years. Every city has a name, but few cities have a name as mysterious as Bogor. For generations, historians, linguists, and cultural experts have debated the true origin of the word Bogor. One theory traces it back to the Dutch colonial era. During their rule, the Dutch referred to the city as Buitenzorg, a name meaning without worry or free from anxiety. It was considered a tranquil retreat away from the heat and pressure of Batavia, which is now Jakarta. Yet another theory reaches much deeper into history. Some scholars believe the name originates from ancient Sanskrit. In this interpretation, the word combines baga, meaning wealth, fortune, or blessing, with ur, meaning land or city. Together, they create a beautiful meaning: the blessed land, the prosperous city, a place gifted by nature itself. Others point towards Sundanese roots. According to local tradition, the name may have evolved from Bar Gohong, a phrase associated with rushing waters and strong currents. This explanation seems fitting. After all, Bogor is a city defined by water. Rivers carve through its landscape, streams flow from surrounding mountains, rain falls in astonishing abundance. Nature is not merely part of Bogor's identity, nature is Bogor's identity. Throughout centuries of political change, colonial administration, independence movements, and national transformation, the city underwent numerous naming transitions. Eventually, following Indonesia's independence and modern administrative reforms, the name Bogor became firmly established and officially recognized under national law. Yet no matter what name appeared on maps throughout history, the spirit of the city remained the same: a land blessed by nature, a sanctuary surrounded by green, a gateway between Indonesia's past and future. But if there is one thing that instantly distinguishes Bogor from every other city in Indonesia, it is rain. Rain is not merely weather in Bogor. Rain is a way of life. Rain shapes daily routines. Rain influences architecture. Rain nourishes the landscape. Rain defines the city's character. This is why Bogor proudly carries the title, the City of Rain. Situated at elevations ranging from approximately 190 to 330 meters above sea level, Bogor benefits from a unique geographical position. Moist air masses move inland and encounter mountainous terrain surrounding the city. As the air rises, it cools. Clouds form. Rain begins. Again and again, day after day, year after year. The result is one of the wettest urban environments in Indonesia. For visitors arriving from hotter and drier regions, the experience can feel almost magical. The air is cooler, the vegetation appears richer, the trees seem greener, the atmosphere feels fresher. Even during busy urban activity, nature never feels far away. But Bogor's relationship with the sky goes beyond rain. In recent years, another extraordinary characteristic has attracted scientific attention and public fascination. Lightning. Lots of lightning. In fact, Bogor has earned another nickname, the City of Lightning. On certain days, hundreds of lightning strikes can occur across the region. Reports have noted that lightning activity in Bogor can reach levels dramatically higher than what many cities experience. The combination of atmospheric conditions, humidity, topography, and tropical weather systems creates an environment where electrical storms thrive. Imagine standing beneath dark clouds gathering over distant mountains. A sudden flash illuminates the horizon. Moments later, thunder rolls across the landscape. Then another flash, and another. Nature putting on one of the most spectacular performances imaginable. To residents, these storms are familiar. To visitors, they can be unforgettable. Yet despite its dramatic weather, Bogor remains a place of remarkable beauty. And nowhere is that beauty more evident than in one of Southeast Asia's most important botanical treasures, the Bogor Botanical Gardens. Known locally as Kebun Raya Bogor, established in 1817, this extraordinary institution stands among the oldest botanical gardens in Southeast Asia. For more than 2 centuries, scientists, researchers, explorers, conservationists, and visitors have walked beneath its towering trees. What began as a colonial scientific project evolved into one of Indonesia's most significant centers of botanical knowledge. Today, the gardens are home to more than 15,000 species of plants. Think about that for a moment. 15,000. Each species representing a unique branch of life. Each tree carrying a story. Each flower reflecting millions of years of evolution. Walking through the gardens feels less like visiting a park and more like entering a living museum. Ancient trees stretch toward the sky. Rare orchids bloom among tropical greenery. Massive roots twist through the earth like natural sculptures. Birds move through the canopy. Butterflies drift between flowers. Every corner reveals another wonder. Yet the significance of the Bogor Botanical Gardens extends beyond beauty. These gardens have played an important role in scientific research, conservation efforts, agricultural studies, and environmental education throughout Indonesian history. Countless discoveries have emerged from this landscape. Generations of scientists have contributed to our understanding of tropical ecosystems here. Students continue to learn from its living collections. Visitors leave with a deeper appreciation for the natural world. But Bogor's story is not only about nature, it is also about civilization. Long before colonial powers arrived, this region was deeply connected to the great Sundanese kingdoms that once flourished across Western Java. These kingdoms developed sophisticated systems of governance, trade, agriculture, and culture. The land surrounding modern Bogor became an important center of political and cultural life. Many historians associate the area with the ancient Sunda kingdom and its capital, known as Pakuan Pajajaran. For centuries, this kingdom stood as one of the most influential powers in Western Java. Its legacy continues to shape regional identity even today. The memory of kings, warriors, scholars, and communities survives through local traditions, cultural heritage, and historical narratives passed from generation to generation. As centuries passed, new chapters unfolded. European colonial powers arrived. Trade routes expanded. Political structures changed. Yet Bogor continued adapting while preserving its unique character. The city evolved into a place where heritage and modernity coexist. Ancient stories live beside contemporary neighbourhoods. Historic landmarks stand near bustling commercial districts. Traditional markets operate alongside modern businesses. This balance gives Bogor a distinct personality unlike any other city in Indonesia. Today, millions of people know Bogor as a weekend destination, a place to escape urban stress, a place to enjoy cooler temperatures, a place to reconnect with nature. Families stroll through parks, students gather in cafes, travellers explore cultural attractions, food enthusiasts search for local culinary treasures, photographers chase dramatic skies and mountain views. Yet perhaps the greatest attraction of Bogor is something less tangible, a feeling, a sense of calm, a connection to nature, a reminder that progress and preservation do not have to be enemies. In an age where cities often expand at the expense of green spaces, Bogor demonstrates another possibility. A city can grow while remaining connected to its natural roots. A city can embrace modernity without forgetting its history. A city can honour its past while inspiring its future. That is the true story of Bogor. Not simply a city famous for rain, not merely a destination known for gardens, not only a place of storms and lightning, but a living testament to resilience. A place where nature, history, science, culture, and human ambition meet. Every rainfall tells a story. Every tree preserves a memory. Every street reflects centuries of transformation. And every visitor who arrives discovers something unexpected. Because Bogor is more than a point on a map, more than a city in West Java, more than a historical landmark. It is a reminder that some of the world's most extraordinary places are not always the loudest. Sometimes they whisper through falling rain. Sometimes they reveal themselves beneath ancient trees. Sometimes they appear in flashes of lightning across a tropical sky. And when they do, they leave a mark that lasts forever. This is Bogor, the blessed land, the city of rain, the city of lightning, one of Indonesia's greatest hidden stories, and now perhaps one of the most unforgettable cities you will ever discover. Yet to truly understand Bogor, we must look beyond the rain, beyond the gardens, and beyond the city that exists today. We must travel back in time, far back, to an era when the forests of West Java stretched endlessly across the landscape, to a time before highways, before railroads, before colonial buildings, before Indonesia itself existed. Long before Bogor became known as the City of Rain, this region stood at the heart of one of the most influential civilizations in Western Java, the Kingdom of Sunda. For centuries, the Sundanese people developed a thriving society rooted in agriculture, trade, spirituality, and harmony with nature. The fertile volcanic soil surrounding Bogor provided ideal conditions for farming. Rivers supplied fresh water. The mountains offered protection. The climate supported abundant harvests. Nature was not an obstacle, it was an ally. This natural abundance helped transform the region into a center of power. Many historians believe that the area surrounding present-day Bogor was closely connected to Pakuan Pajajaran, the legendary capital of the Sunda Kingdom. While much of its physical grandeur has disappeared into history, its legacy remains deeply embedded within Sundanese identity. Imagine a thriving royal capital surrounded by forests and rivers, nobles discussing matters of state, farmers cultivating fertile lands, merchants carrying goods across trade routes, religious leaders preserving traditions and wisdom, children growing up beneath the same skies that still stretch above Bogor today. Generations came and went, kingdoms rose, kingdoms fell, but the land endured, and then the world changed. Across the oceans, European powers were expanding their reach. Ships crossed vast distances. Trade networks connected continents. The age of colonial empires had begun. When Dutch influence expanded across the Indonesian archipelago, Bogor entered a new chapter. The city's strategic location and pleasant climate quickly attracted attention. Compared to the intense heat of Batavia, modern-day Jakarta, Bogor offered something rare: comfort, fresh air, green landscapes, a refuge from the tropical humidity of the coast. This is one reason why Dutch officials transformed Bogor into an important administrative and residential centre. The colonial government invested heavily in the city. Roads were improved, institutions were established, scientific research expanded, large estates emerged. The city became a place where politics, science, and nature intersected. Perhaps nowhere is this transformation more visible than in the construction of what would become one of Indonesia's most iconic landmarks, the Bogor Palace, today known as Istana Bogor. Set amid expansive gardens and towering trees, the palace became one of the most significant official residences in the Dutch East Indies. Its elegant architecture reflected European influences, yet its setting remained unmistakably Indonesian. Nature surrounded every view. Greenery framed every corridor. The palace stood as a symbol of authority, but also as a reminder that Bogor's greatest treasure had always been its environment. Even now, visitors are often captivated by one of the palace's most famous residents. Hundreds of graceful deer roaming freely across the grounds. For generations, these animals have become an enduring symbol of Bogor itself. They move peacefully across the lawns, creating scenes that feel almost timeless, as if history and nature are quietly sharing the same space. Yet while colonial powers left visible marks on the city, Bogor's story is ultimately not about colonizers. It is about resilience. The resilience of a people. The resilience of a culture. The resilience of a city that continued evolving through every challenge. The 19th and 20th centuries brought profound changes. Technological innovation accelerated. Transportation networks expanded. Education spread. Political awareness grew. Across Indonesia, movements advocating independence gained strength. Ideas that once seemed impossible began to inspire millions. Freedom, self-determination, nationhood. Bogor was not isolated from these historic developments. Like countless cities across the archipelago, it witnessed the rising aspirations of a people determined to shape their own future. The struggle for independence transformed Indonesia forever, and when independence finally arrived, Bogor entered yet another chapter of its remarkable journey. The colonial city gradually became an Indonesian city. The institutions evolved. The population grew. New generations took ownership of their future. Economic activity expanded. Educational opportunities increased. Urban development accelerated. Yet through every transformation, Bogor retained something precious: its identity. Unlike many rapidly expanding cities that lose their distinctive character, Bogor continued nurturing its connection to nature. Visitors arriving today often notice something unusual. Despite its urban growth, greenery remains everywhere. Towering trees line streets, parks provide breathing space, mountain views emerge unexpectedly between buildings. The presence of nature never feels far away. This relationship between city and environment may be one of Bogor's greatest achievements, especially in the 21st century. Across the globe, urbanization has created enormous challenges: air pollution, traffic congestion, loss of biodiversity, declining green spaces, climate vulnerability. Many cities struggle to balance development with sustainability. Bogor faces these challenges as well, yet its history provides valuable lessons. For centuries, the city's prosperity has depended on understanding and respecting the natural systems around it. The forests matter, the rivers matter, The mountains matter, the rainfall matters, because when nature thrives, communities thrive. This lesson feels increasingly important in our modern world, but there is another side of Bogor that visitors quickly fall in love with: its culture. The soul of any city is not found in buildings, it is found in people, and Bogor is filled with stories. Walk through local neighborhoods and you will encounter traditions passed down through generations. Listen closely and you may hear Sundanese language flowing naturally through daily conversations. Visit community gatherings and you will discover music, art, and customs that connect modern residents to their ancestors. Food also plays a central role in Bogor's cultural identity. Across the city, traditional recipes continue bringing families and communities together. Street vendors prepare beloved local dishes. Markets overflow with fresh ingredients. Restaurants blend heritage and innovation. Every meal becomes a reflection of the city's diverse influences. Food is more than nourishment. It is memory. It is identity. It is history served on a plate. And perhaps that is what makes Bogor so compelling. It cannot be defined by a single characteristic. It is not only a historical city, not only a scientific center, not only a tourist destination, not only a cultural hub. It is all of these things at once. A city where ancient kingdoms and modern universities coexist. A city where botanical discoveries and traditional wisdom intersect. A city where thunderstorms can shake the heavens one moment and peaceful gardens can calm the soul the next. Few places contain such contrasts. Even fewer places embrace them so beautifully. As evening falls over Bogor, clouds often gather around the distant mountains. The air cools, the light softens. Rain may begin once again. The familiar rhythm returns, drops falling on rooftops, water flowing through streets, thunder echoing across the landscape. For residents, it is ordinary. For visitors, it can feel magical. And perhaps that is the secret of Bogor. Its greatest wonders are not hidden behind walls. They are woven into everyday life. The rain, the trees, the mountains, the people, the stories. Together, they create a city unlike any other. A city that has survived kingdoms, colonialism, revolutions, modernization, and rapid growth. A city that continues reinventing itself while remaining true to its roots. A city whose story is still being written. And as Indonesia moves deeper into the 21st century, Bogor stands as a reminder of something increasingly rare. Progress does not have to erase identity. Modernity does not have to destroy heritage. Growth does not have to come at the expense of nature. Because when history, culture, and environment are respected together, something extraordinary becomes possible. A city that honors yesterday, a city that embraces today, a city that inspires tomorrow. That city is Bogor. But every great city has something that goes beyond history, something that lives between facts and legends, something that refuses to disappear. For Bogor, that story begins with a king whose name still echoes across West Java centuries after his reign. A ruler remembered not merely as a monarch, but as a symbol, a legend, a guardian of an entire civilization. His name was Prabu Siliwangi. Even today, mention his name anywhere in Sundanese communities and you will immediately recognize the respect that follows. Stories about Prabu Siliwangi have survived for generations. Parents tell them to their children. Elders preserve them through oral tradition. Artists depict them through performances, literature, and cultural expression. Historians continue studying the era associated with his leadership. Whether viewed through the lens of documented history or cultural memory, one fact remains undeniable. Few figures have left a deeper imprint on Sundanese identity. The kingdom associated with Prabu Siliwangi, Pajajaran, represented the height of political and cultural influence in Western Java. Its capital is widely believed to have existed in the region surrounding present-day Bogor. Imagine what this area may have looked like centuries ago. Dense tropical forests stretching toward the horizon, royal compounds protected by natural barriers, trade routes connecting distant communities, farmers cultivating fertile lands nourished by volcanic soil, scholars preserving knowledge, religious leaders guiding society, artists creating works that reflected the values and aspirations of their people. This was not an isolated wilderness. This was a center of civilization, a place where power, culture, and identity converged. And although the kingdom eventually faded from political existence, its influence never truly disappeared, because some civilizations survive not through monuments, but through memory. Bogor became the keeper of that memory. The landscape itself seems to whisper reminders of the past. Ancient sites, historical markers, traditional stories, cultural ceremonies, each serves as a thread connecting modern generations to centuries long gone. Yet perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Bogor is how seamlessly the past coexists with the present. Few cities manage this balance. In many places, history feels distant, locked inside museums, buried beneath concrete, reduced to footnotes in textbooks. Bogor is different. History is woven into everyday life. A student walking to class may pass a landmark linked to colonial history. A family visiting a public park may be standing near ground once connected to ancient kingdoms. A commuter traveling through the city may unknowingly follow routes shaped by centuries of development. The past is never completely gone. It remains visible to those willing to look closely. And then there are the mountains, always present, always watching. The geography surrounding Bogor has shaped its destiny for centuries. To the south rise some of West Java's most iconic volcanic landscapes. Their presence influences weather patterns, water systems, agriculture, biodiversity, and human settlement. The mountains provide more than scenic beauty, they provide life. Rainfall generated by these highlands feeds rivers that sustain communities. Forests regulate ecosystems, volcanic soils enrich agriculture. Countless species depend upon these interconnected environments. Without the mountains, Bogor would not be Bogor. Nature and civilization have always shared the same story here. This relationship becomes even more remarkable when viewed through the lens of biodiversity. Indonesia is recognized as one of the most biologically diverse countries on Earth, and Bogor sits within one of the richest ecological regions of the archipelago. The surrounding landscapes support extraordinary plant and animal life, towering tropical trees, rare orchids, colorful birds, unique insects, countless forms of life working together within delicate ecological networks. The Bogor Botanical Gardens became famous precisely because scientists recognized the importance of studying and protecting this incredible natural wealth. For more than 2 centuries, researchers have collected, classified, and conserved species from across Indonesia and beyond. Their work has contributed to global scientific understanding. Yet the gardens also remind us of something simple. Nature inspires wonder. No matter how advanced technology becomes, there is still something profoundly moving about standing beneath a giant tree that has witnessed generations come and go. There is something humbling about seeing life flourish in thousands of forms around us. And perhaps that sense of wonder explains why millions of visitors continue returning to Bogor year after year. Some arrive seeking relaxation, others come for history, others come for nature, many come for all three. Yet almost everyone leaves with the same realization. Bogor feels different, the pace feels different, the atmosphere feels different, the relationship between people and environment feels different. In a world increasingly dominated by speed, noise, and constant distraction, Bogor offers something many people desperately seek: a chance to slow down, a chance to reconnect, a chance to remember what matters. But Bogor's importance extends beyond tourism. The city has become one of Indonesia's leading centers for education, research, and intellectual development. Generations of students have traveled here in pursuit of knowledge. Universities and research institutions continue attracting talented individuals from across the nation. New discoveries emerge, new ideas take shape, new leaders begin their journeys. Knowledge has become one of Bogor's greatest resources. And perhaps this is fitting. After all, cities that endure are not defined solely by their buildings. They are defined by their ability to adapt, to learn, to evolve, to prepare future generations for challenges yet to come. Bogor has repeatedly demonstrated this ability. Kingdoms changed, empires rose and fell, political systems transformed, economic realities shifted, technologies revolutionized daily life, yet the city continued moving forward, not by abandoning its identity, but by building upon it. This resilience is one of the defining themes of Bogor's story, and it is impossible to fully appreciate the city without understanding this quality. Because resilience is not merely surviving difficult times, resilience is emerging stronger. Resilience is preserving values while embracing change. Resilience is finding opportunity within uncertainty. Bogor has practiced this lesson for centuries. Perhaps that is why it continues inspiring those who visit. The city quietly demonstrates that progress and preservation can coexist, that heritage and innovation can strengthen each other, that nature and urban development do not have to be enemies. These lessons may be more relevant today than ever before. Across the world, communities are asking difficult questions. How do we protect the environment while supporting economic growth? How do we preserve cultural identity in an age of globalization? How do we create cities that are both modern and livable? Bogor does not claim to have every answer, but it offers an example, a living example, a city still learning, still growing, still adapting, yet still deeply connected to the foundations that shaped its character centuries ago. As night settles over Bogor, lights begin appearing across the city. Traffic moves through busy streets. Families gather at home. Students continue studying. Workers prepare for another day. Rain clouds drift across the dark sky. Thunder may rumble in the distance. Life continues, just as it has for generations. And somewhere beneath those same skies, the memory of ancient kingdoms remains. The legacy of explorers and scientists remains. The hopes of future generations remain, all connected through one remarkable place, a place where nature writes poetry in rainfall, a place where history lives beneath modern streets, a place where every storm tells a story, a place called Bogor, and astonishingly, the story is far from over, because the most exciting chapter of Bogor's journey may still lie ahead, and perhaps that is what makes Bogor so extraordinary. Its greatest story is not hidden in the past. Its greatest story is unfolding right now. Every morning, as the first light touches the mountains surrounding the city, Bogor awakens once again. Street vendors prepare for another day. Students hurry towards schools and universities. Workers navigate busy roads. Families begin their routines. The city moves. The city breathes. The city grows. Yet unlike many rapidly expanding urban centers around the world, Bogor remains connected to something deeper. Its growth is not taking place in isolation. It is taking place within a landscape shaped by centuries of history and thousands of years of natural evolution. This creates a fascinating contrast. Modern shopping centers rise near historic districts. Contemporary cafes attract young entrepreneurs, while ancient traditions continue thriving in local communities. Digital innovation expands, while cultural heritage remains alive. Past and future exist side by side, and nowhere is this more visible than among the younger generation. Across Bogor, young people are redefining what it means to inherit history. They are not simply preserving traditions, they are transforming them. Artists blend traditional influences with contemporary creativity. Entrepreneurs build businesses inspired by local identity. Students use technology to solve modern challenges. Communities develop new approaches to sustainability and environmental stewardship. A new chapter is being written, not by kings, not by colonial powers, not by distant authorities, but by ordinary people. People who understand that the future of Bogor belongs to them. This spirit of innovation has become one of the city's defining strengths. The world often focuses on major capitals, the largest economies, the most famous destinations. Yet some of the most important transformations happen elsewhere. They happen in cities like Bogor, cities that quietly build knowledge, cities that nurture talent, cities that invest in people, cities that understand that true progress begins at the community level. And perhaps nowhere is this community spirit more visible than during moments of challenge. Throughout history, Bogor has faced obstacles, natural disasters, political upheaval, economic uncertainty, rapid population growth, environmental pressures. Like every city, it has encountered periods of difficulty, yet time and again, Bogor has demonstrated an extraordinary capacity for resilience. Communities adapt, neighbors support one another, institutions evolve, solutions emerge. This ability to recover, rebuild, and move forward has become part of the city's identity. The rain itself seems symbolic of this resilience. To outsiders, constant rain may appear inconvenient, but to Bogor, rain represents renewal. Every storm nourishes the land. Every rainfall replenishes rivers. Every cloud eventually gives way to sunlight. Nature teaches lessons here, lessons about patience, lessons about adaptation, lessons about endurance. Perhaps that is why Bogor feels so alive. The city is constantly renewing itself, constantly evolving, constantly finding new ways to thrive. And as Indonesia continues rising as one of the world's most important nations, Bogor's role becomes increasingly significant. The city occupies a strategic position within one of Southeast Asia's most dynamic regions. Its educational institutions help prepare future leaders. Its research centers contribute to scientific advancement. Its environmental resources support sustainability efforts. Its cultural heritage strengthens national identity. Its people drive innovation. Bogor may not always dominate international headlines, but influence is not measured only by attention. Sometimes influence is measured by contribution, and Bogor contributes enormously to science, to education, to culture, to conservation, to Indonesia's future. Yet for all its achievements, Bogor never loses sight of what makes it unique. The city understands that its greatest treasures cannot be manufactured, they cannot be imported, they cannot be replicated elsewhere. Its greatest treasures are the things that have always been here: the mountains, the forests, the rainfall, the rivers, the stories, the people. These elements form the foundation upon which everything else is built. Remove them, and Bogor would become just another city. Protect them, and Bogor remains extraordinary. This understanding carries an important message for the modern world. In an era obsessed with speed, bigger is often assumed to be better. Newer is often assumed to be superior. Expansion is often treated as the ultimate goal. But Bogor suggests a different philosophy. Growth matters, innovation matters, development matters, but identity matters too. Nature matters, culture matters, history matters, because without these things, progress loses its meaning. This lesson resonates far beyond West Java. It speaks to communities everywhere, communities searching for balance, communities trying to protect what makes them unique, communities striving to build a better future without sacrificing their soul. Bogor's journey proves that such a balance is possible. Not perfect, not easy, but possible. And perhaps that is why visitors often feel unexpectedly emotional when they leave. They arrive expecting beautiful gardens. They arrive expecting cool weather. They arrive expecting a pleasant destination. What they discover is something much deeper. They discover a city with character, a city with memory, a city with purpose, a city that reminds people of connections they may have forgotten, connections to nature, connections to history, connections to community, connections to place. As the years pass and the world continues changing at extraordinary speed, these connections become increasingly valuable. Because technology can connect devices, but places like Bogor connect people. The future will undoubtedly bring new challenges: climate change, urbanization, technological disruption, economic transformation, demographic shifts. The coming decades will test cities around the world. Bogor will face these challenges as well. Yet, if history teaches us anything, it is this: Bogor has never been defined by the challenges it faces. Bogor has always been defined by how it responds to them. For centuries, the city has adapted. For centuries, it has endured. For centuries, it has found ways to evolve without forgetting where it came from. That pattern is unlikely to change, because resilience is woven into the city's DNA. It exists in the rivers that continue flowing despite obstacles. It exists in the forests that regenerate after disturbance. It exists in the people who continue building better lives for future generations. And so the story continues, a story that began long before modern maps, a story shaped by kingdoms and cultures, a story transformed by science and discovery, a story strengthened by challenge and change, a story still being written every single day. When future generations look back at the history of Bogor, they will not simply see a city famous for rain. They will see something far greater. They will see a place where nature and civilization learned to coexist, a place where knowledge and tradition strengthened one another, a place where progress did not require forgetting the past, a place where people understood that true prosperity comes not only from economic growth, but from preserving the values that make life meaningful. And perhaps that will be Bogor's greatest legacy. Not the buildings, not the roads, not even the institutions, but the example. The example that a city can grow without losing itself. The example that history remains relevant. The example that nature remains essential. The example that identity remains powerful. Because in a rapidly changing world, places that remember who they are become increasingly rare. Bogor is one of those places, a city shaped by rain, a city illuminated by lightning, a city blessed by nature, a city enriched by history, a city strengthened by resilience, a city inspired by possibility, and above all, a city whose story continues to remind us that some of the most extraordinary places on earth are not defined by their size, their wealth, or their fame. They are defined by their spirit, and the spirit of Bogor is impossible to forget. For as long as rain falls upon the mountains of West Java, for as long as ancient trees stand watch over the land, for as long as stories are passed from one generation to the next, Bogor will remain exactly what it has always been, a blessed land, a living story, and one of Indonesia's most remarkable treasures. Final chapter: Bogor and the future of Indonesia. There are cities that become famous. There are cities that become powerful. There are cities that become wealthy. And then there are cities that become symbols. Symbols of resilience, symbols of identity, symbols of possibility. Bogor is one of those cities. Because when we look at Bogor, we are not simply looking at a city in West Java. We are looking at a reflection of Indonesia itself, a nation built upon extraordinary diversity, a nation shaped by nature, a nation forged through centuries of struggle and transformation. A nation constantly balancing tradition and modernity, just like Bogor. As the 21st century unfolds, Indonesia stands at a historic crossroads. It is one of the world's largest countries, one of the world's largest democracies, one of the world's fastest-growing economies, home to hundreds of ethnic groups, thousands of islands, hundreds of languages, and more than 280 million people. The decisions made today will influence generations yet unborn. The cities that succeed in navigating these changes will help shape the future of the nation, and Bogor possesses qualities that make it uniquely prepared for this moment. Not because it is the largest city, not because it is the richest city, but because it understands something that many places are still struggling to learn. The future cannot be built by abandoning the past. The future must be built upon it. Look around the world. Many communities are searching for answers. How can economic growth be sustained? How can environmental destruction be prevented? How can cultural identity survive globalization? How can cities remain livable as populations continue growing? How can innovation flourish without sacrificing humanity? These are not small questions. They may be among the most important questions of our age. And while no city possesses all the answers, Bogor offers valuable lessons. For centuries, this land has demonstrated the power of coexistence, nature and development, science and tradition, history and progress, each strengthening the other rather than competing against it. That balance may become one of the defining advantages of the future, because the future will not belong merely to the strongest, or the richest, or the most technologically advanced. The future will belong to those who can adapt, those who can innovate, those who can preserve what matters while embracing what is possible. Bogor has practiced these skills for generations, and perhaps that is why its story feels increasingly relevant. The world is changing rapidly. Artificial intelligence is transforming industries. Climate change is reshaping landscapes. Digital networks connect billions of people instantly. New technologies emerge almost daily. Entire professions evolve within a single generation. The pace can feel overwhelming. Yet amid all this transformation, certain truths remain constant. People still need community. People still need nature. People still need identity. People still need purpose. Bogor reminds us of these truths. Walk through the city and you can see multiple centuries existing simultaneously. Ancient cultural traditions survive in modern neighborhoods. Historic landmarks coexist with contemporary infrastructure. Scientific research flourishes alongside local wisdom. The city demonstrates that progress does not require erasing memory. Instead, memory can become a foundation for innovation. This lesson is especially important for younger generations. The children growing up in Bogor today will inherit a world unlike anything previous generations experienced. They will face challenges that have never existed before, but they will also inherit opportunities beyond imagination, new technologies, new industries, new forms of communication, new possibilities for solving old problems. The future belongs to them, and the values they inherit may prove just as important as the tools they use. Imagine a young student walking through the Bogor Botanical Gardens, surrounded by trees planted long before they were born, learning about ecosystems that have evolved for millions of years, studying scientific discoveries that connect local knowledge to global understanding. That student is not merely learning about plants, they are learning about stewardship, responsibility, curiosity, and respect for the world around them. These are qualities that every future leader will need, whether they become scientists, entrepreneurs, teachers, engineers, artists, or public servants. The future requires more than intelligence, it requires wisdom, and wisdom often grows from understanding both history and nature. This is where Bogor's greatest contribution may lie, not simply in what it has accomplished, but in what it teaches. The city teaches patience. Rain falls according to its own rhythm. The city teaches resilience. Storms come and go. The city teaches adaptation. Nature constantly adjusts to changing conditions. The city teaches continuity. Generations pass, yet the story continues. These lessons are timeless, and in an increasingly uncertain world, timeless lessons become incredibly valuable. Perhaps one day, decades from now, a visitor will arrive in Bogor for the very first time. The city may look different. New technologies may shape daily life. Transportation systems may evolve. Buildings may rise where open spaces once existed. Innovations we cannot yet imagine may become ordinary, but some things will remain unchanged. The mountains will still stand. The rain will still fall. The trees will still reach toward the sky, and the spirit of Bogor will still endure. Because spirit cannot be measured in statistics. It cannot be captured entirely by photographs. It cannot be reduced to maps or economic reports. Spirit lives in people, in memories, in values, in stories, and Bogor possesses an abundance of all four. This is why the city matters, not only to West Java, not only to Indonesia, but to anyone who believes that development should serve humanity rather than replace it. Anyone who believes that nature remains essential. Anyone who believes that culture deserves protection. Anyone who believes that history still has something to teach us. Bogor stands as proof that these beliefs are not outdated. They are increasingly important. As humanity moves deeper into the 21st century, the cities that thrive will likely be those capable of balancing competing priorities: innovation and preservation, growth and sustainability, efficiency and humanity, technology and wisdom. Bogor's story suggests that balance is achievable, difficult, complex, never perfect, but achievable. And perhaps that is the most hopeful message of all: hope. Because every great city ultimately leaves behind more than infrastructure. It leaves behind an idea powerful enough to inspire future generations. The idea of Bogor is simple. A city can remain connected to nature while embracing progress. A city can honor its history while building its future. A city can preserve its identity while welcoming change. A city can grow without losing its soul. That idea may be one of the most valuable gifts Bogor has to offer the world. And so, as our journey through this remarkable city comes to an end, we return to where we began: the rain, the endless rain that gave Bogor its most famous name. For centuries, those rains have nourished forests, rivers, gardens, farms, communities, and dreams. They have witnessed kingdoms rise, empires fall, nations emerge, generations come and go. The rain has seen it all, and still it falls. A reminder that some things endure. A reminder that renewal is always possible. A reminder that every ending is also a beginning. So the next time you hear the name Bogor, do not think only of weather. Do not think only of gardens. Do not think only of a city south of Jakarta. Think of a living story. A story written by nature, shaped by history, strengthened by resilience, guided by knowledge, and inspired by hope. Because Bogor is more than a destination, more than a landmark, more than a chapter in Indonesian history. Bogor is a testament to what becomes possible when people, culture, and nature grow together. A blessed land, a city of rain, a city of lightning, a city of learning, a city of resilience, a city of hope, and perhaps one of the most inspiring urban stories in all of Southeast Asia. Its story began centuries ago, its story continues today, and its greatest chapters may still be waiting to be written. This is Bogor, this is its legacy, and this is why the world should remember its name.